how in the world does it stand up against gravity? I mean, there's not a single bone in there. Well, today, we're going to get into the absolutely elegant engineering that keeps the entire plant world standing tall. And it all boils down to two, surprisingly different, support systems.
Okay, let's start with something I'm pretty sure we've all seen. You've got a plant, it's sad, it's droopy, completely wilted. You give it a good drink of water, and just a few hours later, boom, it's standing proud again. It really does feel like magic, doesn't it?
But you guessed it, it's not magic. This amazing transformation from a limp, bent stem to one that's straight and vibrant is a fantastic showcase of one of the plant's two core support systems in action. So, let's actually break down how this incredible comeback happens.
But first, before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Why is standing upright so incredibly important for a plant in the first place? Well, it turns out that support isn't just about looking nice. It is absolutely fundamental to a plant's survival. And what's really fascinating here is that our wilted little friend isn't dead, not even close. It's still alive, but because its support system has failed, it's just doing a really bad job at, well, everything. Proper support is the huge difference between a plant just barely surviving and one that's truly flourishing.
So what jobs does this whole support system actually do? Well, there are three main ones. First, it holds the plant's shape, which is crucial for getting its leaves in the best position to soak up sunlight. Second, it gives it the strength to fight against gravity and wind. And third, it actually offers protection, kind of like a physical shield against damage.
Now, to pull all of this off, plants have evolved not one, but two totally distinct blueprints for strength. You can think of them as two different engineering strategies that work together to create one seriously resilient and adaptable organism.
And you can see the two different approaches right here. On one side, you've got the hydraulic system. It's temporary, it's dynamic, and it's all about water pressure. On the other side is the permanent scaffolding. This is a structural system built with reinforcing materials meant to last. One is fast and flexible, the other is slow and incredibly strong.
All right, let's start with that first system, the one that's responsible for our plant's miraculous recovery. This is the hydraulic system, and it's a dynamic, water-based solution that provides support for the plant's day-to-day life. Now, the official term for this is physiological support. The key idea here is temporary firmness. It happens when a plant's cells are totally full of water, creating this internal pressure that pushes outwards. And when a cell is in this plump, full state, we call it turgid.
So how does a plant get its cells all nice and turgid? It's actually a really elegant and pretty simple process. First, the cells build up a concentration of natural salts inside them. This salty interior then pulls water into the cells through a process called osmosis. As that water rushes in, the cells just swell up and push really hard against their walls. You can imagine millions of tiny overinflated water balloons. And the combined pressure of all these cells pushing against each other is what makes the whole plant stand up straight and firm. And that, of course, brings us right back to our wilted plant. When a plant is losing water faster than it can drink it up, those little cellular water balloons start to deflate. That internal pressure just plummets, the cells go limp, and the whole plant wilts. It's a direct failure of its hydraulic system.
Okay, now for the second system. Because while the hydraulic system is great for daily, adjustable support, plants also need a long-term, permanent solution. And this is where the permanent scaffolding comes into play.
We call this structural support. It's the strength a plant gets by physically beefing up its cell walls with tough, durable materials. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like adding steel rebar to concrete to make it stronger. The plant is literally building a permanent, reinforced structure, one cell at a time.
So what are these building materials? There are a few key players. You've got cellulose, which gives flexible strength. Think of it as the stuff that lets stems bend without breaking. Then there's lignin, the tough guy. This provides rigid hardness, and it's what makes wood, well, woody. And finally, you have materials like cutin and suberin. These act like a waterproof coating, sealing the plant to keep it from losing the water that its hydraulic system needs to work.
All right, enough with the theory. Let's look at some really clear, real-world examples so we can see how these two systems are actually working in the plants all around us.
You want to see the hydraulic system right in your own kitchen? It's easy. Just soak some dried beans or seeds in a bowl of water overnight. That incredible swelling you see the next morning, that is pure physiological support in action. The dry cells are just rapidly filling with water through osmosis, creating this immense internal pressure. And for structural support, you really can't get a better example than this. The next time you're struggling to crack a nutshell or a peach pit, just remember what you're up against. You are fighting a fortress of cells that have been permanently reinforced with lignin, one of the toughest materials in nature.
That here's what's cool. Structural support isn't always about being rock hard. Think about that satisfying snap when you break a fresh stalk of celery. That crispness comes from its structural scaffolding, but this one is built mostly with flexible cellulose, giving it that strength while still allowing for that signature snap.
Okay, so let's put it all together. We have this fast, adjustable water pressure system, and we have a slow, permanent building system. The real genius, of course, is how a single plant uses both of these strategies at the same time. It really is a perfect partnership. The hydraulic system handles all the daily adjustable support, helping the plant grow and react to its environment. Meanwhile, the permanent scaffolding provides the strong, lasting framework, kind of like the plant's backbone. Together, they make a plant both incredibly flexible and remarkably strong. So, the next time you look at a plant, don't just see a plant, see it for what it truly is, an absolute marvel of engineering. It's a dynamic water pump that's constantly adjusting its pressure, and it's a permanently reinforced tower built to withstand the tests of time, all in one. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought, right? If a seemingly simple organism like a plant contains such sophisticated and elegant engineering solutions, what other incredible designs hidden all over in nature are we completely overlooking every single day? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.